Subscribe to MTL World at Middle World 1 YouTube channel. Swallowed Star 2, Origin Continent. Volume 9, Advancing Through the Darkness. Chapter 346 Watching the Enemies. 8th of Volume 9. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Xuanhuan City is the oldest city in the entire Dark Holy Realm. The vast Xuanhuan Hall is filled with endless resources, Wuxia said with a smile. Brother Luo Feng, with your military merits, you can exchange for even more powerful resources there. Qizheng, the red-robed youth, added, Brother Luo Feng, you're carrying trillions of Xuanhuan crystals. Leaving Chengfeng City might put you at serious risk. Even with the three of us by your side, we might not be enough to deal with the danger. We should gather at least 10 peak-level existences, God Emperor Wuxia said. Brother Luo Feng, you were already at the peak level before entering the Dark Holy Realm. There should be many willing to join us here in Chengfeng City. That won't be necessary. Luo Feng replied calmly, shaking his head. There is no need to go through so much trouble. Asking some peak-level beings to escort would mean owing favors which Luo Feng didn't wish to accrue. The three of you are enough. Luo Feng said. We. God Emperor Wuxia and Qizheng were both surprised. God Emperor Baiyan couldn't help but say, Brother Luo Feng, as we have said before, the faction led by God Emperor Mixu and the 8 Heavenly Wolf companions are likely to ambush you. The three of us won't be able to stop them. God Emperor Wuxia nodded. The 8 Heavenly Wolf companions had received gifts from the Heavenly Wolf guest. Although their temperaments have changed, their strength has also increased. If all 8 of them attacks together, the three of us won't last more than a few moves. As for the 15 God Emperors under God Emperor Mixu, their combined strength is far too great. We can't match them at all. We really do need reinforcement. God Emperor Wuxia added, clearly knowing the power structure of Chengfeng City. Luo Feng smiled and gently shook his head. If there is an ambush, I'll handle it myself. God Emperor Wuxia, Qizheng, and God Emperor Baiyan stared at him, stunned. You'll handle it. They all understood the weight of that statement. 15 God Emperors together undergo a qualitative transformation, God Emperor Baiyan said seriously. Unless you're at the invincible realm, it's impossible to defeat them. Now that you mentioned it, I am actually looking forward to their moves, Luo Feng laughed. Prepare yourselves. We will set off once you're ready. If the three of you unwilling, I'll go alone. No, we're definitely coming with you, Brother Luo Feng. They quickly assured him. We will make some preparations and set off soon. God Emperor Wuxia, Qizheng and God Emperor Baiyan said. Luo Feng nodded and walked away. Watching his retreating figure, the three of them were filled with emotion. From what Brother Luo Feng said, it seems that Brother Luo Feng has the confidence to face the combined forces of 15 God Emperors and God Emperor Mixu. Qizheng said in disbelief. You heard him right, God Emperor Wuxia nodded. Could it be that Brother Luo Feng had already reached the invincible realm? God Emperor Baiyan wondered. If that's true, why didn't the senior Yuan and others come to guide him? God Emperor Wuxia frowned and said, when he left the seclusion, he gave off a terrifying pressure that vanished in an instant. I felt it very clearly. Brother Luo Feng should have a major breakthrough during this retreat. Even if he can't defeat God Emperor Mixu and others, he can definitely escape. Qizheng and Baiyan both nodded in agreement. Fleeing was far easier than defeating 15 peak-level enemies. That same day, Wuxia, Baiyan, and Qizheng boarded a warship with Luo Feng and departed Chengfeng City. God Emperor Luo Feng has finally left the city, and only with Wuxia and the other two. The God Emperor Mixu was aware of the movements in Chengfeng City at any time, and also used the cause and effect induction to lock on and confirm the departure of Luo Feng and others at the first possible moment. He stayed in Chengfeng City for over 1,000 epochs, bought many secret treasures, and exchanged 30 million military merits. Right now, he likely carries 3 trillion Xuanhuan crystals. Should we act? Less than half remains. His total transactions reached 7.3 trillion, but over half had been used. Even if it's much less than before, it's still worth to take action. If we miss this opportunity, who knows when will we get this opportunity since no one carries 3 trillion Xuanhuan crystals with them. The peak beings had no fear. As long as Luo Feng wasn't invincible, they had nothing to worry about. Since there is no objections. Then let's do it. God Emperor Mixu ordered. Assemble immediately and pursue them. Whoosh. A flying vessel quietly exited Chengfeng City. They've moved. Their ship can pierce through the void faster than ours. One of the 8 heavenly wolves said aboard a shadowy vessel cloaked in darkness. If they attack first, we may miss the opportunity, another added. But if we delay them long enough, we might arrive in time and can join forces and fight alongside Luo Feng. Haha, Compared to Luo Feng, the God Emperor Mixu's faction makes a better grindstone. Clashing with God Emperor Mixu and his people might help us to make a breakthrough in our spiritual will and transcend the cage, and get rid of this pollution completely. The Heavenly Wolf guest's gift came with slight spiritual will pollution, but it wasn't malevolent, but transformative. Unlike Palace Master Yuanxiang, their power didn't decline, instead it surged dramatically. The 8 Heavenly Wolf companions are already at the peak, and hope to transcend with this ordeal. Perhaps this is our chance to transcend the cage through a complete breakthrough in our spiritual will. They knew clearly that it was too difficult for a life form to transcend the cage, but it was much easier to use spiritual will to transcend the cage. Since both factions are after him, let's take a look too, others in Chengfeng City said. Among 100 peak-level existences, many sent clones to witness the battle. Inside the ancient warship, Boxiu, Baiyan, and Qizheng were anxious. I can sense through the cause and effect induction of the Mixu God Emperor and his team, they are drawing closer, Qizheng said, it wouldn't long before they catch up. Not only the Mixu God Emperor and his team, the 8 Heavenly Wolves are also approaching. Baiyan added. Boxiu looked toward the front of the ship. Luo Feng stood there alone, calmly gazing at the majestic landscape. The skies churned, turning matter into shimmering particles, boiling energy surging everywhere. Far ahead, a wild vortex shredded everything. The dark holy realm teemed with deadly zones, where even low-level Xuanhuan beings would perish instantly. What a magnificent view! Luo Feng murmured, smiling at the sight. He showed no fear toward the 15 peak-level threats or the 8 Heavenly Wolves. After over 1,000 epochs of cultivation, using the Book of Wisdom, the Eye of Life and Death, and countless treasures, his mental faculties operated over 100 times faster than before. I've thoroughly studied the spiritual will and consciousness system of the 3 advanced Xuanhuan bloodlines and their spiritual structures. Luo Feng thought. Each has strengths, but none suit me perfectly. The heavenly fire shadow infused spiritual consciousness into every fragment of its life force. The nether prison beast is like a prison, imprisoning itself layer by layer of life force. Its spiritual consciousness system also actively imprisoned and restrained layer by layer of life force. In this form, it can have an extremely large body, but most of it is imprisoned by itself. The strength of the frontal burst is not strong enough, but it can burst continuously. The 9-headed chaos beast actually has 9 consciousnesses. Each of the 9 consciousnesses controls a part of the body. The 9 consciousnesses can develop as much as they want, and they are intertwined and affect each other. I obtained 3 complete spiritual will consciousness systems. And absorbed their suitable aspects to build my own spiritual will consciousness system. Luo Feng thought. After thousands of epochs of improvement, my spiritual will consciousness system has finally taken shape, and I can now perfectly control the million-fold energy reserve of perfect divine body. Luo Feng was quite satisfied with this progress. Compared to before the retreat, he has improved a lot. But in theory, the semi-Xuanhuan level life and death Dao should have 1.2 billion times the energy reserve. So I need to go to the large Xuanhuan Hall of Xuanhuan City, where my physical body can quickly reach 1.2 billion times energy reserves of perfect divine body. Luo Feng wanted to see and raise the physical body to a large enough size and continuously experiment with his spiritual will consciousness system. They are coming. Bo Shu, Bai Yin, Kai Zheng came to Luo Feng in an instant, all sensing the 4 directions solemnly. Through cause and effect, it can be confirmed that the 15 people including the Mixu God Emperor are nearby. 15 peak beings. Luo Feng opened the bionic eye of destruction between his brows and looked around with great interest. Suddenly, the endless vast area around turned into darkness. In this endless darkness, there was no sense of direction, and no light. Luo Feng, Bo Shu, Bai Yin, Kai Zheng could only rely on secret methods to observe their surroundings. What a good formation! Luo Feng praised softly. His bionic eye of destruction could see that in the endless darkness, there was actually the combined power of 15 peak beings. It could be scorching flames, or invisible destruction wind, or black liquid swallowing everything, or billions of insects gnawing at everything. The power of 15 peak beings is operating at the same time, and under the unified formation, everything is plunged into silence, and everything is strangled and returned to its origin. Even peak-level beings would be crushed and erased under such a formation. It's the Xuanhuan Destruction Grand Formation. Boxiu, Baiyan, and Qizheng grew tense, glancing at Luo Feng. Didn't you say I'll take care of it myself? The Xuanhuan rules drawing all into destruction. It's like a mini cataclysm, Luo Feng admired. The Mixu God Emperor must have seen the great destruction of the origin world. But this minor cataclysm destruction is too fragile. Luo Feng took a step forward. With a single step, whoosh, he exited the ship, appearing in midair. Standing in the sky, Luo Feng perfectly controlled his millionfold perfect divine body energy reserve. Instantly, space and time around him collapsed and distorted. In the Battle of Yulan City, even with far weaker power, he could tear space. Now, his life force was vastly stronger. A large-scale eruption twisted and collapsed space-time across billions of kilometers. The closer to Luo Feng, the more intense the distortion. Time itself accelerated. What's going on? The 15 god emperors hidden within the formation felt the collapse of their surrounding space-time. It was as if an overwhelmingly heavy presence crushed it all. The Dark Holy Realm's space-time is incredibly stable. And even short-distance teleportation is hard. How could such massive collapse happen? Did Luo Feng do this? Impossible. They could see the black-haired figure standing calmly at the center. Space-time visibly collapsed around Luo Feng, making him the core of a massive sinkhole. The surrounding area twisted and was drawn inward. The formation shattered. They were caught by the collapsing space-time and pulled toward Luo Feng. It's too heavy, I can't escape. No way out. Inside this collapsing field, spatial travel is impossible. They realized in despair they couldn't even flee. Before this cataclysmic collapse, they couldn't regroup or coordinate. Each one faced it alone, helplessly dragged toward Luo Feng. Luo Feng stood there, watching this scene calmly. He didn't need to move. The enemies would come to him one by one. Blank, underscore 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 underscore. End of chapter. Subscribe to MTL World at Middle World 1 YouTube channel.